Alrighty. What's going on, team? I hope you guys are having a good night so far, or morning, wherever you're from. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of September, 2025. Uh, about yesterday, I did not upload yesterday because I did not take a trade. Yesterday was bank holiday for us, which was all day. Technically, at New York Open, um, that's when bank holidays finished. So I did open up the charts at New York Open to see if there was anything, but within the time frame, I didn't really see um, anything major that I could take a trade from. It was more of okay, if I took a trade, is it gonna last till you know Asia Asia opening? Because if it does last, then we're kind of on the spectrum of okay, Asia could reverse and take out my stop loss then continue going in a direction. So, thinking about that, I did not take a trade at all yesterday. So jumping right into it, I saw two trades, one on EU and one on GU, right? So I want to talk about EU. Uh, don't know why my things aren't there, but if we look at, if we do like a analysis of what we're doing, we have a high, we have a low, broke structure, we have a high, and we had this huge drop, made a high, low, broke structure again. So that is current structure when London session opened. So jumping in, I'll just refine this just a little bit more. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Okay, so that is what market look like on the 1 hour time frame, right? So, well, we want to play off current market structure. So when was the recent break of structure? This was, right? Don't know why that's not loading. But um, so POIs for the day we had this order block here. We had this one here. And um, and we had these tiny fair value gaps, which if price did hit those, we'll definitely tap into this order block here. So didn't matter to me. But anyways, I want us to see what this area will do because technically this is our range, right, from this high to this low on the 1 hour. So we want to catch that continuation to take out Asia low and New York low. But what did pre-market do? Pre-market opened and we had this huge buying pressure up, and Uh, London opened on this candle. We had a small retrace up. Then we took out Asia low and we took out previous New York lows. Um, so I was actually after price pre-market tapped into this order block. I was kind of looking for a retracement into these zones to take out Asia low and New York previous New York low, but price didn't even give me an opportunity to do that at all. It just ripped straight down, taking out Asia low, taking out previous New York low. Um, great, great point for a reversal, right? So, um, speaking of that, once we got that sweep, okay, I was looking to see what this fair value gap would do. This 5 minute fair value gap, right? Because we had that huge um, breakdown. But again, what's important is that uh, we didn't break structure. So we made this high and we made this low, right? But you would think that if price closed structure here, this would be our new kind of area, right? It would be here, and our range would be from here to here. But what did price do? We swept, right? So this was about like 7:45 Honestly, I was just waiting to see. I was waiting for 8 o'clock to hit, because if the hourly closed below this low, that means that we could just retrace up to this order block here and take out New York, previous New York lows, right? So what we did is that we actually opened, price dumped, right? Taking out previous Asia low and also previous New York low. So we manipulated down. So I wanted to see what this fair value gap does, right? To see if it holds or not. So with that in mind, I did get a breaker structure here, a kind of fractal. And with that breaker structure, we also inverted this gap. So I was looking for two things. I was looking for either um, a tap back into here, or since we did mitigate this fair value gap, I was wanting to see this low being taken out before the real move. But unfortunately, we didn't really get a close in here and then a bullish kind of candle out of it. So we only did. I wanted to see this. Oh wait, sorry, wrong tool. I wanted to see something like we had a push down, something like this, right? Um, or something like this, where we take out these lows, and therefore the real move starts, right? But we didn't get any of those things, right? We just kind of got a little bit of a pause in the market, then price ripped again. So I was like, okay, cool. This, even though this would have been a good trade to take, it didn't really follow my trading plan. Just because we didn't get. Oh, we did get a major liquidity sweep, but again, it was kind of just like we broke structure. I would think that price would want to tap back into here, with a nice strong wick reaction out of it before continuing up high again. But we didn't. We didn't even get that retracement at all. So with that in mind, my trade was on GU today, right? Kind of the same thing, right? On the 1 hour time frame, with our recent breaker structure, it was this. So this was our range from this high to this low, right? So what did I want to see? I wanted to see price come up to these highs to where our take profits would be Asia low and also the previous New York session low, right? So same kind of thing here. We came up into our POI, right? And we just, as soon as market opened, we just dumped, absolutely dumped, taking out Asia low, also New York, previous New York open. Oh no, previous New York low that was made last night. So with that in mind, if you see a move like this, it's more likely that um, we're definitely after something. If it doesn't give, sellers a chance to get back in, or traders, for us to get back in, it's more chasing after something, right? It needs something to fuel the move back up, right? So same kind of thing. I was kind of waiting to see what 8 o'clock did, right? Because we had that huge move up into this POIs, and then we had that huge move down. So I'm like, okay, cool. Are we gonna close below these 1 hour lows on the 1 hour time frame? Which the same kind of thing. We didn't, right? We wicked Asia lows and we took out previous New York lows, and that was the fuel needed to um, you know, for the trade that I took today. So today was only a 1.5 hour, um, just because the entries were so sort of not there, but it was there. So instead of price kind of tapping into this, so on EU, price didn't actually tap into this order block, which is marked here. EU didn't tap into that order block because, right, we get that fractal breaker structure up here. We didn't get that. We didn't get that tap back in. But on GU we did, right? GU we got that tap back in, and this wasn't enough for me. I wanted to see at least a bullish kind of candle. That means that sellers, we could tap back into this POI again. But I waited for the second candle to close, and once closed, I saw this and I entered. So stops would have been below this low, just because this was the trade idea would have been invalidated if price came below these lows. Because if we came out and took these lows, there's not much left here. So we would definitely take out London lows, continue on the trend downwards. So with that in mind, we had confluences of the 1 hour liquidity sweeps, right? Taking out Asia lows and New York low, not closing below at all. We had a huge push up. We broke fractal structure here and we had an inversion fair value gap, this huge inversion fair value gap here. Price broke straight through it with some momentum, and we get that little tap back in, and we get a bullish candle out, right? And that was my entry requirement, and I was targeting Asia high, um, and stops were below here, and I was targeting Asia high because it is a liquidity void, right? So Asia high was definitely, could be the point to where price could reverse from, right? Just how we took out Asia lows and previous session lows, New York lows. It could be the fuel needed to push price back down again. So safe take profit was definitely Asia highs, but I was also thinking about taking profits at this high here, because if we think about what structure is doing, right? We should have had that. And once we had that push up and we had that closure down, if we had that closure down, what would this make this? It would make this high a protected high. So our range would be then from this high to this low, right? But we didn't get that closure below. So what does it make this? It makes this a a high that failed to do its job, right? Because once we get that push into the POI, we expect for price to push down further, right? But price couldn't do that. Price failed to close below. Therefore, this high is, not um, not protected because it failed to break structure again. But with that, I just decided to take profits at Asia highs just because it was safe and we were on that little bull run, and I didn't want to be in the trade for that long. And so today's trade was pretty much zero drawdown. The trade was very smooth. Um, that manipulation downwards, and then we had that kind of, you know, yeah, push up. So it was a nice trade. I just wish, like, if we in terms of like refining entries, this was more taking trade on momentum. I mean, we did tap into a POI, but again, it wasn't a full. I couldn't get better stops, if that makes sense. Just because prices in that bull run for so just in that, we just kept closing bullish candles. So what's interesting is that this is like a kind of a continuation model, right? So once you get that sweep of Asia highs, this is external to internal, right? So once we get that, once we took out these highs, if you wanted to catch a continuation, I would always wait for an internal sweep, right? Internal sweep of some lows. This was a good low being put in. Even though we did break fractal structure, we didn't break with momentum, and we took out this low and hit a unmitigated fair value gap here, to which price ripped, right? So that was today's trade. Decent trade. Um, the This was a trade on the funded. I've got, I think, yeah, one more trade to go before we pass the funded, but don't want to get too cocky. Too cocky. Um, the market will always test you. There's days where you might feel confident, too confident to where the market reverses on you. And that's because you're changing your risk management or things like that. Even though it's A plus setup, you should always be using risk management. If if you're going for buys and your bullish PDRAs are not working anymore or they're failing, you're wanting to get out. You want to save capital, especially on a funded account. That's how most people lose. Is that um, or in the past for me, it was a thing of it's either gonna hit TP or my stop loss, and that's it, right? And back then, I didn't really understand take profits and where take profits should be. So I'll just kind of aim for one to two, hoping that it would hit, and I would just let it ride it. I'll let it ride along until price ended up coming down and stopping me out. And just makes the trade, you know, that's really poor risk management. So, speaking of that, this was a trade for today. Nice and simple in textbook, kind of like the ICT 2022 model sort of thing being formed here. We had a consolidation, manipulation, distribution, right? Distribution back down, but also to take out these lows to where we didn't close below, and took an entry to Asia highs. So yeah, overall decent trade. Yeah, happy with how our price moved today. Um, and yeah, hope you guys won today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.